Welcome to another episode of SEC Sports Talk, Sanchez Entertainment Channel. It's three brothers from three different generations. I'm Johnny. Over here we got my brother Anthony. He is the middle brother. And our little, not so little brother at the bottom down there, Nick. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Yo, yo.
Got a big week this week. We've got lots of NBA talk. We've got baseball talk. There's big news up on the hill for the Razorbacks, Major League Baseball. So much going on. Let's get started with the Razorback news update. Okay, guys? Big news for Sam Pittman, the head football coach of Arkansas. He just signed a 5-year contract that began retroactively on January 1st, 2022, and is effective through December 31st, 2026. The agreement would be extended an additional year through December 31st of 2027 if Coach Pittman leads Arkansas to 7 wins in any one season. That's inclusive of a bowl game against a Power 5 or a top 25 team. So all he has to do is do it one time during that 5-year stretch during the term of the contract. Now, Coach Pittman's salary goes from around $3 million to $5 million. That's just his base salary. And factoring in his retention pay, his new deal is worth $6 million this year, making him the 8th highest paid SEC coach. Now, that's up from 12th where he ranked last season. Now, there's also some performance increases. So for a 7-win season, he gets a $250,000 raise. For an 8-win season, he gets $500,000 more. For 9 or more wins, he'll get an extra $750,000. So think of all those close games last year, 1 or 2 point losses that we had. That's going to mean a lot more to Coach Pittman than I think it will to us as a Razorback fan. Right, guys?
Yeah, it will, absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Well, Arkansas did good last year, though. He probably wish he had that deal last year because Arkansas won 9 games in 2021, including a win over Penn State in the Outback Bowl for the program's most wins in over a decade. And now the Hogs ended the season ranked at number 21 in the AP poll and 20 in the coaches poll, and that's the first time since 2011. What do you think it looks like for next season for the Hogs? You think Coach Pittman's going to reach some of these incentives?
I would hope so. I mean, the way we're looking next season, I would hope we could at least get. You said 7 wins, right?
Yeah.
I have us winning at least minimum 9 next season. Looking at the schedule, in my opinion,
that'd get him $950,000. Don't you wish we had these kind of incentives at our jobs?
Right. I'm hoping we can be top 4 in our conference next year. I don't expect us to win it with Alabama and Georgia, but I would hope we could at least get top 4. So,
yeah, that would be incredible.
What do you think, Anthony?
Oh, I mean, you put money on anything, people are going to do good.
Yeah. Talk about Al Horford later.
That's
yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's just how it is.
Right.
You know, I mean, you give someone money incentive, you know, they're gonna, you know, do whatever it takes. And that's what's sad. I think sad about it, instead of, you know, just doing it for, you know, the pride and whatever, you know, it's like, they're doing it for the money. Yeah, they're doing it for the money.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I don't know. What to me, I guess that is a lot of money, though, if you really think about it, because coaches a lot of times don't. You know, if say he leaves Arkansas, he may not get another big paying job like that. So this money may have to last him for the rest of his life. You know, that's the thing about college football coaches. You never know. You may be out of coaching. You don't have to take a job at a small college or a high school back down to $50,000 a year. You know, you want that money to last.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm waiting for Musselman to get his. I know he has his contract goes through 2024, but I mean, he deserves some higher pay than what he's getting paid, in my opinion.
I thought he did. Didn't he get an increase?
He might have.
Signed his contract.
He might have. I think so, but I think it was only like 2.5, right, or something.
2.5. Yeah.
Right.
I would remember, to be honest.
Yeah, I would think that he would. You know, I would expect him to make a little bit more than that because, you know, was that 3? Is it 2 or 3 straight Elite 8 appearances?
2.
Yeah, that's pretty insane for our program from where it was. So
I don't know. I was thinking he was more up around 10 million, but I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong on that. But We'll see. He's definitely one that the Hogs are going to want to keep when it does come time for that. So, and maybe Coach Pittman too. He's already on his upswing. So we'll see what happens.
I love both of them. They're great.
Yeah. Well, there's more Razorback news in basketball. Yeah, Jalen Williams, of course, announced last week that he's leaving for the NBA. So the Hogs went from number 1 in one of the preseason polls. They dropped all the way to number 5 just because Jalen left, which really isn't that bad, considering we've got a lot of freshmen coming in. Even though they're 5 stars, 4 stars, we've got a lot of talent coming in. That's pretty high preseason rank for a team that hasn't really proved themselves. Devontae's the only one coming back.
Right. I mean, being top 10 is pretty impressive for us, considering that, considering no one on our team has proved ourselves really. Because I mean, Davis, but I mean, everyone else, like, I don't know who some of them are or how they're going to play. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. We're going to have to go up there and go to a game or two.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Once again, I remember we went to a lot of the LSU games at the end of the season because they always played one of the last games of the year. I remember seeing Ben Simmons play his last game when the Hogs, beat LSU at the end of the season on their last game. So that was pretty cool. But we definitely need to do that. Nothing like the environment at Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville.
No, it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Football and basketball. It's insane.
Something else that's insane, the Diamond Hogs. It's cool to watch a game up there of them too. I love everything up there in Fayetteville. It's just so beautiful, really cool. But speaking of them, Arkansas now 40-18. The Hogs hit 7 home runs to come from behind to advance to the Stillwater Regional Final, scoring 8 runs in the top of the 8th to stun Oklahoma State Saturday night, who is 40-21 now. The Hogs, of course, play today, right about the time we are recording this, to punch its ticket to the NCAA Super Regional round for the 10th time in program history. You think they're going to do it?
I mean, I'm always hopeful. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah,
I think so. I think they will. One, because Oklahoma State's already played today. They played Missouri State earlier.
Yeah.
And they scored 29 runs against Oklahoma State earlier today.
Missouri, wasn't it? When did they
Oklahoma State scored 29 runs against Missouri State.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think, they used some of their bats at that first game.
And pitching, I mean, what do they got left now? I don't know how deep they go pitching.
I'm not too familiar with Oklahoma State's pitchers. I know Arkansas, not 100% sure who they're even going to start today. So it should be, I can't remember his name.
At least the Hogs got a full day of rest too, though.
Yeah, they got a full day of rest. And like you said, John, they're going to be playing. It's going to be coming up pretty soon. So,
yeah, by the time you guys are watching this, you will know. Maybe we'll give you an update before we get off here and let you know. Anthony, you got some Major League Baseball news too, right?
Yeah. Of course, our team is the Cardinals. Growing up in our household, you had to watch the Cards. So, we always got to start off with some Cardinals baseball. Right now they're in the 5-game stretch with the Cubs. It's been a hard-fought stretch, which it always is with the Cubs, even though the Cubs, a lot of people think that they don't have that great of a team this year because they did, trade off pretty much their whole team last year.
Yeah.
But it's they're 2-2 right now. They're playing the Cubs right now for the 5th game to see who wins that series. We are still 1 game behind Milwaukee to be the top of the NL Central. Goldschmidt got NL Player of the Month last month for the month of May. His bat is just super hot right now. Everyone's still playing well. Of course, the pitching's up and down, which, every team has that, especially this year, their pitching's up and down, but, Pujols, he's starting to hit well, and And one good thing that, I read an article the other day on Pujols that he's really becoming a big mentor to the younger players on the team, to try to help them out, and understanding, how to hit and everything like that, which I think, the old players like that, I think that's kind of, what they need to do.
How old is he? How old is he now? Pujols?
Is he 39 or is he 40 now?
39. No, I think
39.
he's 30. He might be 40.
Yeah, he might be. Hold on, let's see.
And
Let's
you
see.
called
He
him,
is,
and
he's
you
42.
called him an old man.
He's
Oh, he's
42.
42.
Oh, wow. He's a little older than I thought he
Oh.
was.
I know someone else that's going to be that age
Yeah,
coming
Nick.
up here pretty soon.
Yeah, Nick.
In fact, I don't even know today's date. 9 days? Is that right?
Yeah.
9 days.
Right.
So,
Big. 42.
next big news is Cards rookie Brendan Donovan, who's been playing solid so far this year, for a rookie and everything. They found some old tweets that he had made back when he was a teenager, and he had some anti-gay slurs in the tweets.
Can't do that nowadays.
He publicly came out and apologized for that. And, like John said, I mean, with social media being the way it is, I mean, you just can't, no matter how old you are, you just, you can't do that because it's always going to come back.
Did he leave him on his profile? Like, what happened?
Someone found him. Yeah, someone found him. And
I mean, how many years ago are we talking on this? Is this?
It looks like 2011/2013 is when the tweets were.
Yeah.
He said they were playful banter, though.
So he's probably like 12, 13.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you really hold somebody accountable for what they do at 12 years old? Come on.
Well, I mean, these days, used to like, and even Nicholas this time, actions speak louder than words. But the way times are now, words speak, way more than action. So
it's just with social media, your words hit more people than back in the day where you just said something. Thousands of people can't look at what you said unless it, someone quotes it in the paper or something. Now you post something online. It's just, it's there permanently almost. Cause if one person screenshots it, that's it.
I just want to know who's going back and searching for these things.
It looks like there were messages sent between two people. They weren't necessarily just tweets. They look like they might have just been messages, personal messages. So
there should be a statute of limitations on this before the media will run with this. I mean, it's too much negative, searching out all these negative things from people's past. I mean, we're talking about when he was a little kid. Let that one go. I mean, if he said this a year or so ago, or whatever.
Well, I mean, it also can just be the parents. Once kids get away from some of their, I'm not saying his parents are negative in any way, but once people get away from their parents, they learn. Like once they go out in the world, they learn that maybe what they were taught wasn't, what they should have been taught.
We all know it's media just looking for the story and for the money. Right. It's all about money when they're coming up with these things. So to me, the media is more responsible for these things, for perpetuating these stories over and over and over again, because they're getting money, they're getting hits on their sites, they're looking for these things, and it makes the world, and unfortunately, less better place to live in.
Yeah, and in a world that we live in now, where the media and the news is 24/7, you can't get away from it.
I don't even see anywhere where they even said what he what he said. Yeah. So I don't. Yeah. That's pretty interesting, because I would like to know at least what he said, because none of them. I've looked through like 9 articles and nothing says. No one's showing the tweets. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's but also right now, the Yankees are one of the red hot teams.
Yeah,
of course they've been one of the best teams in baseball this year. But Aaron Judge, is showing why he's getting paid the big bucks. He's already hitting 21 home runs so far.
Wow.
In the season.
How many games in is that?
They're like 50 games in, right?
50,
60, depending.
Wow.
50.
That's almost every other game he's hitting a home run.
Right, 55. Yeah, that's. I mean, if he keeps that up, that's going to be some insane numbers.
Yeah, his bat's pretty hot right now. Other non-honorable mentions. Goldschmidt, he's fourth. In batting average right now is batting 342, which is awesome. Harrison Bader and Tommy Edman are both second in stolen bases with 14 each. So, that's huge for them right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. But other than that, teams have their ups, teams have their downs. So,
I also saw the Mets were the first in the National League as well, right? So
yeah, they are first. Even be without Shazer,
Right. It's a good time to be a New York fan, I guess.
Yeah, and of course, what is that? What's that? What's the Dodgers in? They're in the NL West.
Yes, West. Yep.
And of course, between them, the Padres, and the Giants, it's going to be a close race there. And then, the Mets 36-19. Astros are doing good this year, 35-19. The Twins, surprisingly, have the AL Central, which, I think is pretty good for them. 32, they're 32-24. Yeah, the Yankees 39-15. One of the best teams in baseball right now. So they're just firing all cylinders. All their money makers are starting to pay off.
Yeah, money's starting to pay off. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah. So when you got an all-star team for your team, it's got to click at some point.
All right. Well, it's also NBA playoff time, Nick.
Right. Yeah, I have some stuff about that. If you haven't heard, which I would assume you would already, the Celtics won 120 to 108 against the Warriors, obviously.
Yeah, if you guys went to bed early, this is a big shock to you right now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was an awesome game to watch. I mean, it was an awesome game if you don't like defense. How about that? Each team shot about 40 3-pointers each, almost 86, I think, total between the two of them, which is a lot in my opinion. Like, I looked it up. Like, the Celtics only shoot about 20, I think, every game. So, they shot about 20 more than they usually do. Al Horford is the big news there. He was the leading scorer for the Celtics with 26 points, which is insane. We were talking about him last week and his money. Yeah. So, I mean, it's showing that, money talks, like we were talking about earlier. So,
well, again, he came on strong at the end of the game. The first quarter was all Golden State. I think Curry had 26 points or something.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe 18 points. I can't remember which it was now, but I mean, around 20 points in the first quarter, maybe more.
Yeah.
That was incredible. He wasn't hitting or missing anything. And it's not that the defense was bad. It's just the offense was better. And you thought at that point, they're at home, they're playing this well, they're firing on all cylinders.
Right.
I mean, there's no way Boston wins this game.
Well, they were down by 12 going into the fourth quarter. So at that point, I thought the game was pretty much over.
Yeah, I think they were down by 16 or 18 at one point.
They were.
Yeah, after the third quarter, just the third quarter alone, Golden State beat out Boston 38-24. So they had a 14-point, lead going into the fourth quarter.
And that's what they're known for. They're the best third quarter scoring team, I think, in the NBA. So they normally outscore opponents then.
Yeah, and in the fourth quarter alone, it was 40-16 Boston.
Right.
That's crazy.
Well, so something that my attribute to that is that there were 38 out of the 41 shots, 3-point shots the Celtics took were considered open or wide open, which means there were 3+ feet between them and the nearest defender. That 38 out of 41 shots, or is it 28? Sorry, it might be 28. 28. Sorry, 28. I don't know why I said 38. 28 shots, which is still insane. Draymond Green came out and said, yeah, we just didn't defend him because we didn't pretty much want, we didn't want to, didn't think they were going to hit him. It's like, well, if you leave 6 feet of separation, it's gonna.
Well, a lot of that's happening on those pick and rolls, though. The screens they're setting up top,
right.
And the refs are letting them bang a lot more. It seems like at certain periods of the game, and I don't know if that's something they're together on or not.
I think normally I saw a lot of fouls called in the recent playoffs, the past couple of years, but I think it seems like they're going back to where they're just not calling as many fouls, I guess, because that's what I think of when I say NBA playoffs is fouls just don't get called. That's why James Harden doesn't usually have as much success and so on. So
I see so many on those pick and rolls, those high screens,
right.
That I see so many that they bang hard. I mean, fouls, and they're moving screens on top of that, and then and they won't call those. But away from the ball, if they just swipe at it, it's a foul.
Right.
I mean,
it's kind of weird.
What's the balance on that?
I have no idea.
I think it's the officials. I think that's what it is. I think it's the officials because I think this is a whole new officiate crew that's doing the finals. It's because they don't. Oh, what game was that? There was one game where the officiating was so bad, that the NBA even had to apologize for the officiating.
Right. Well, that happened early on in the first round with several matchups where that became an issue. In fact, it was Boston in the first round that complained, if you remember, and they got fined. I think it was Boston. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You were right.
But I had a quote from Steve Kerr about Jordan Poole before the first game because Poole only scored 9 points. He was a non-factor, 1 from 5 from 3. So a couple days before the game, Steve Kerr said, I give him a little hints all the time, and things that I wouldn't say to Steph about shot selection, I will say to Jordan because Jordan hasn't earned that yet. And in his third year, his 3-point percentage isn't what Steph's is. And so without trying to thwart him and keep him from being himself, I'm trying to nudge him towards a really high percentage shot taking rather than emulating Steph. That's a dangerous game, emulating Steph, which I think he has been trying to do, but maybe that got into his head about, maybe I need to be my own player and maybe, I don't know.
Well, and again, the defense, you're playing, these are the number 1 and number 2 defensive rated teams, they said, in the playoffs. So, again, they're zeroing in more on Poole, and I think they would on Curry, but they can't catch him. Curry is so fast out coming off of those rows, those screens. He is super fast, and they have double and triple screens for Curry, whereas Poole, they may not have that many. So it's a little harder for maybe not technically, but it is a little harder for Poole. Curry's been in the league. Curry's been there, had the experience. He knows how to get through these screens, whereas Poole is trying to fight his way through a lot of them. And he's not going to get the same respect from the referees either, I don't think. So,
they also said Steph Curry should get more playing time, but there were 4 people. There were 4 people with 38 or 3 people with 38 minutes, and there was only one person really with more minutes, and that was Jason Tatum.
Well, so they were up by 16, 18 points with Curry on the bench. So it's when he came back in that Boston began on their. They just were incredible, lights out on shooting. I mean, like you said, Orford was even hitting threes. How many did he
6
hit?
from 8, 6 for 8. He hit 6 threes. So he hit the most on their team.
Half. Yeah, so that was just. It's like they switched. Golden State was incredible the first quarter, where Boston was in the fourth.
I wonder if that age is hitting them because they got some older guys with Draymond, Clay, and Steph. I mean, I know they're still athletic and whatnot, but you got young Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart's still a little bit younger. Maybe that might be affecting them.
You have 20-year-olds, upper 20s playing, lower 30s,
lower 20s for like Jason Tatum's only like 23 years old, so.
Yeah,
which is insane to think about. I always forget that he's like not very old.
Yeah, Brown is what, 27, 28?
I think he's like 26. Jaylen Brown?
Yeah.
Let's look it up.
See how old he is. He may be younger.
And Brown is
he's 20. He's 25.
25. Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah, this is a young team.
Yeah, Marcus Smart's 27. I mean, Horford's is the oldest guy by far, or 28.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think then when it comes down to the finals? How important is youth more important, or is experience more important?
I think they're both going to play a role. Personally, were you saying anything?
I was just gonna say I think it's experience. I mean, it's just one game that happened. Golden State's been here. They still have 3 of the core members of when they won the championships that they've won before. I think it just comes down to experience. I think Golden State's probably going to regroup and figure out what they need to do better, and I think it's going to be a good series. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Boston's just going to just give up or whatever. But
what's scary to me is that they were at home, up that many points, playing as well as they played, and still found a way to lose at home where they never lose. They have one of the best home winning records in the NBA.
Yeah,
that's
31 and 10 at home.
Yeah, that's incredible in the NBA. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
I got a question for you guys. And one player that I mean, he's been getting some talks and everything, but it's just one player that's always kind of, I don't know. Just he had the big hype coming out. He just has never really, kind of stepped up, and he's been playing, he's been playing really good this year with Golden State, and of course in playoffs he's been playing really good as Andrew Wiggins.
Right.
Yeah.
Do y'all feel like he would be considered a bust or no?
No.
At this point, no. Before, yes, because people were complaining about how much money he was taking up, because I think he's getting paid like $20-something million now. But I think he's worth it at this point. I mean, he had so much potential. He was just with the wrong team, I think. So.
Well, he bounced around. That hurt him. And you got to be mentored when you're coming up, and usually that happens when you're on one team for at least 2-3 years and have that chance for growth. I don't think he was getting that until he came back to Golden State.
Right.
And now he's a little older. He's a little stronger. He's got a little more experience. He's a little more intelligent with the NBA and how it works. And I think that all has played a part with him, because when you're thrown into the game and you've got so many new factors, and that's a hard thing to take for someone as young as him, because he came into the league young, if I remember. What was he, 20, 19, something? I mean, he was young.
I think it was 2014. He came in 2014, and he's 27 now. So 19.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah. So that would be 21 if it was 6 years ago. No, it was 8 years ago. You said
8 years ago.
Oh yeah, you're right. Then 19. So, and that's a hard thing. He wasn't brought up right. He was expected to come in and be a star, and I don't think he could handle that. He just didn't have it. Whereas now he's playing a little more relaxed. He knows his game. He's more confident about his game. I don't think he's a bust at all. I think he's still growing. I think there's several players that are, like you said, though, if they don't make it by this point, then they start either going up or down.
Well, that's kind of like Justice Winslow. He was drafted the next season, and he was mentored by Dwayne Wade. Like, he was supposed to replace him. Like, he was heavily mentored. Like, they practiced one-on-one together, and he couldn't handle it. I mean, he wasn't a first pick. He was number 10, I think, but still, mentoring plays a big factor, but you also have to have the skill too. So he does.
He's definitely developed. I like Andrew Wiggins this season.
I do too.
Where he's at right now. He's got a good fit where he's at. Yeah. But you mentioned Golden State. I got to tell you about this too. Speaking of NBA news, I've got this here. Another player that was on that championship team with Golden State, Andre Iguodala.
Yep.
Right.
Yep, you're right.
Still there.
Yep. He's back with them again after holding out for Memphis, which made me not like him so much, because he held out. He said he would never play for Memphis. He took the money though, but never played. So I lost some respect for him there. But anyway, speaking of him, I always loved him before. He's one of my favorite players. But this week he said that he was going to pick between Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, who he would pick in today's NBA, saying this person can play in any era. Who do you think he picked?
Magic.
I would say Magic.
No.
Personally,
Larry
no.
Bird. And I can see what he's saying because Larry created his own shot. Larry hit 3-pointers. Magic, I mean, he was okay. He's decent at it. But Bird, go back and watch some highlights. And I got to tell you that this is me saying this, who could not stand Larry Bird at the time. I did not like Larry Bird. I couldn't stand him. But I have much respect for him going back. On YouTube, they have this highlight reel of him, and it's just incredible.
Oh, he was amazing.
Yeah.
He was amazing.
Yeah. You remember watching him, Anthony?
Oh yeah. He was unreal. And then to hear the stories from the guys that played against him, and even the guys that played with him, like Kevin McHale, Danny Ainge, all those guys that played with him, to hear the stories about, just things he did and how he would call his shots, how he would tell the other team what he was going to do, and he would do it. And it just, I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. From French Lick, Indiana, Larry Bird.
French Lick.
Just incredible. Looking, and I admit I didn't respect him as much when he played. I couldn't stand him.
Yeah.
But, looking back, he was a much underrated player, but you can tell if you use him on PlayStation, how good he is. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I personally would have picked Magic Johnson just because of the versatility. He could play anywhere. In today's game, the way it's going, having a person who can play 1 through 5 is huge for today's game now. Because now we have guys that are 6'4" playing power forward, which was unheard of like 10 years ago. So,
but what's the thing though that all of them can do now that they couldn't do back then? The game has changed. What is it?
Shoot threes.
Shoot the three.
He could shoot threes.
Larry Bird was incredible at shooting threes.
Yeah.
Larry Bird won a 3-point competition with his warm-up gear on.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a hit or miss. That one's pretty hard to say who's going to be the better player because Larry shoots threes, but Magic can play everywhere, and
Yeah.
Ironically, Larry Bird also came out this week, and he was asked about who his top 3 picks as the best players in the game today are.
Today. Okay.
And his top 3, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Kawhi Leonard. Do you agree? That's pretty strong.
I would Kevin Durant and LeBron I agree with, but I would replace Kawhi with Giannis. So
Here's
or Luka.
Think about it too. All 3 the players that he picked, they all play the same position he did. Larry Bird did.
Right. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's true.
Maybe had something to do with it a little bit.
Right. Yeah. Well, LeBron's playing power forward now, right? But still, yeah.
LeBron's played it all.
Plays everything.
Point,
LeBron plays everything.
Yeah. Whatever he feels
I would disagree with that, but
I mean, LeBron's going to be there no matter what. But Kevin Durant, people will probably argue about. But Kawhi, I don't think should be there. 100%.
Should be Giannis, Luka,
even Steph, maybe Joel Embiid, Jokic. There's a long list.
Well, and that in the game today. Yeah. What do you think? Which we've talked about this before.
Sure.
And I'm going to ask you this, and hold on to that thought right there. Who your top picks are, because there's someone else that just came out the same week. I don't know what's going on with this, but he's in his second year. 20-year-old Anthony Edwards had an awesome year this year for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He also was asked who his top 5 starters of all time would be. Now, this is of all time for him that he was asked. And here's what he said. Allen Iverson, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Shaquille O'Neal.
Okay.
And then he picks himself as the 5th player at 20. I like the confidence, but he left Michael Jordan out of there. He's saying he's better than Michael Jordan?
No, not even close. I'm okay with the Shaq pick. The LeBron pick's kind of okay, or it's okay, but the rest of them are no.
check this out. See, Steve, you think he's going to be worthy because for the last 3 seasons, which really 2, I guess, 21.3 points a game, 4.8 rebounds a game, 3.8 assists. He shot 44% from the field, which is really good for as much as he shoots, and 35.7 from 3-point range. I
Also
don't
pretty
know
good.
that those numbers are greatest of all time.
No. I mean, if he played 20 more years and kept the same exact stats, he wouldn't be necessarily the greatest, but he would be in the talks of top 10 because that would be insane.
He'd have to do a lot more than that. I mean, he had to win championships, be finals MVP, and yeah.
Well, I would hope with those stats he'd be able to do something with that. So, because
Yeah.
like if you were able to average 20 points a game for 20 years plus, that'd be insane. But I don't think he could do that.
He had me at AI and Shaq, and that's kind of where
Who do you think's the best center then over Shaq?
Probably Kareem.
Yeah, Kareem.
Yeah.
See, I think Kareem was so great because of the era he played in. Now, I'm not taking away from that he was a great player. He's a great player.
Yeah.
But I don't think if he was bodying up against Shaq, he's going to be hitting those hooks because I think Shaq's going to, he's going to put that body. So it's hard to say. I mean, it's really hard to pick when you played in different eras like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I saw an interview with John Sally. He used to play for Detroit back, 80s, early 90s, and everything. And he made a good point that like the whole Jordan LeBron, like that shouldn't even be a thing because the way people played back with Jordan was a totally different era. The way people play with LeBron, totally different era. So, you should have like best by eras, like 70s would be, like Dr. J or maybe Kareem, and 80s would be like, Magic, Bird, 90s, obviously Jordan, 2000, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LeBron
that makes
probably
sense. It really is hard to say. I mean, you can guess all day long. I don't think LeBron would have been as great playing in the 80s with the way they took hits and fouls. He complains over if someone runs by him and barely brushes up against him, he's complaining for a foul. Can you imagine that Lakers team playing the Detroit Pistons? They would have shut LeBron down, I think.
Oh, Lambeer would have.
He would have played.
Lambeer would have demolished LeBron.
LeBron probably would have played football or something. I know football's more physical, but it would have been interesting.
Yeah,
it would have been different.
Lambeer would have destroyed LeBron.
Yeah,
because like even when Detroit played Chicago, that was their thing. They was like, take Jordan out. That was what was his name? Chuck Daly. That was like he told people that. He told them that. He's like, take Jordan out.
Yeah.
He
took some heat. He took some heat for that later on before he passed away too. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, okay. Well, I'm keeping up with the Razorback game. It was 1-0 going into the top of the second, but Oklahoma State just hit a home run, so now it's 1-1.
What inning? Second? Top of the second, you said?
Top of the second, yeah.
So we're still way early. We're still way early, though.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, go ahead, finish.
I was just going to say that, I don't think the players now could have handled playing in the 80s and 90s. I just don't think they could.
I think there's a couple that may have been able to. Marcus Smart, PJ Tucker, those type of players.
Yeah.
Jay
Crowder.
Draymond Green, probably. Green.
There's a few that have that intensity that I think they would have been like Jordan. They would have bulked up like Kobe.
Bobby Portis, has one of the most intense, highest intensity of any player. When I watch him, he is just it's insane. I don't know.
Yeah.
A little Arkansas bias, but
just a little.
I still hate how like Kobe gets no cred.
Yeah.
Right. Kobe, it sucks playing the same position as Jordan. Kobe is great.
I put him. If I had my all time, it would be AI. At point, Jordan at number 2, Kobe at number 3. I'd put him at small forward. And then Larry Bird at power forward, and then probably, Kareem at center.
I don't know that I would have Allen Iverson, though, because of his poor shooting. rating. He's a great player, great defender.
Well,
And
should we all just say our top 5 starting real fast? I
yeah,
have mine.
you starting it
Sure.
since
All
you've
right.
got
Well,
yours.
he said his.
Okay,
So I got
before Nick starts, I'm gonna bet he probably is gonna say Steve Nash at some point.
no. I love Steve Nash, but Magic Johnson edges out Steve Nash. Now, Steve Nash is a close second because of his passing, but I'm also going to put Jordan. I'm not a big fan of LeBron, but I'm going to pick LeBron. Kobe is a close second. I would actually play Kobe at shooting guard instead, but I'm going to pick LeBron. Then Tim Duncan, and then also Kareem. Close second would be Shaq. So
Yeah.
what about you, Johnny? What do you think?
Mine's a little different because I'm a little older and I got to see a lot of these players play that you hadn't got to see. So Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, that right there, incredible.
Right.
Then I would probably say it's either going to be one of two guys, Shaq or Giannis.
Okay.
And maybe Giannis at this point, if it was today's game, maybe
Sure.
because of the shooting ability that Shaq didn't have in the free throws,
Right.
that might make pass him up. And then I would play the small team. It's either going to be Pippen or I'd come back with Curry, Steph Curry, one of
Pippen.
those. Pippen's underrated.
Where are you gonna put Pippen at?
Forward.
That's a small team.
The guards, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, center, Giannis, or Shaq. That's just a toss up there. And then Pippen at small forward.
With
probably.
Curry for point guard? Or no, wait, who's your one more forward?
If it was Curry, it would be a 3-guard offense with, Giannis still in the middle.
Sure.
That kind of thing.
Sure.
But that's right off the top of my head without doing more research on numbers and everything. That would
if we did numbers, we could get a little bit more detailed, but not, yeah.
But then you get into the eras again.
Right.
Yeah. So, Anthony, did you get yours?
Yeah. I said, I started off. I said AI, Jordan, Bryant. I'd put Bird at power, and then Kareem.
That'd be a strong team too.
Also, another small team too. What
are you talking about? Small team?
Larry Bird's only what, like 6'7"?
No, he's like 6'9", I think.
Oh, okay, a little taller than I thought he was.
Yeah. And Kareem's a 7-footer.
Right. Yeah, he is 6'9".
What's funny about this is when Nicholas was a young kid, he used to always want to play whatever the new NBA 2K game was, and he wanted to do the fantasy draft where you could pick your team, and he would always get Steve Nash. He would always get Steve Nash.
Do you remember Nick Young? You remember we played in the finals, and we played in the finals, and I hit against him. I beat him in one of our fantasy drafts. I hit like 20-something threes with Nick Young because he was just like broken. He's one of the best 3-point shooters. And I'd had his shot down. It was hilarious.
Yeah. There was no stopping it. It was a glitch in the game, and
it was hilarious. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I just made every three, and it was just insane. So.
Well, we talked about a guy that makes just about everybody's list, LeBron James. Well, this year he's in the news, or this week, I should say. This is incredible. After earning $121.2 million over the past year, 37-year-old LeBron James is now the first active NBA athlete to become a billionaire, with a B as in boy, billionaire. He's joining Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, who did so after their retirement. Now, check out some of his investments, guys. He is an owner of Blaze Pizza. He owns 10% stake that Forbes estimates to be worth $30 million. Now, not only that, he also owns 19 Blaze Pizza restaurants, and those are the type of restaurants where you go in and you make your own pizza, that kind of thing. He owns 19 of them. He also earned $387 million in salary during his playing career. Incredible. Think about that compared to Michael Jordan and the different eras we were talking about. That's incredible. He also earned an additional $900 million in endorsements since he entered the league back in 2003. $900 million in endorsements. Now, back in 2016, He did sign a lifetime deal with Nike, rumored to be worth $1 billion on its own by the time that he is going to be through playing, or maybe by the end of his life, I should say, because it's a lifetime deal. So Michael Jordan didn't attain that status until 2014. Long after his playing days, 2014, before he became a billionaire.
Okay. I think Michael Jordan had some stuff because like when it came to like endorsements and whatnot, because like I remember back in 2014, 2013, he wasn't even in 2K. Like just bringing up 2K real fast. And so I don't know if he was like,
well, they wanted him to be in 2K.
Right.
Do it. Yeah.
That's what I mean. I don't know if he was like holding out on some stuff, endorsements that you could have had or whatnot. I don't know.
I think it had something to do with the shoe contract or something. I
Mm.
don't remember all the details. I'd have to go look that up again. But there was a reason for
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And I guess they put the money out.
Yeah. I think we were talking about it earlier before the podcast, but we were saying Michael Jordan probably would have been the first if it was today's game, 100%. 100%. Because there's just so much you can get now with clothing and shoes that just weren't a thing back then.
Yeah.
So, and just how many people are actually buying, basketball shoes that don't even play basketball or have never played basketball. Back then it was like you had to have the shoe to play. Now it's just people just own hundreds of shoes just to own them. So,
yeah. And that might have been part of it with the 2K thing, is the Air Jordans, and he wanted a certain amount of money probably to include the Air Jordans into the game.
Probably.
And you got to get them both, him and the shoes, or something to that effect. I could be wrong on that. Here's some other investments though that he has. He's also has a stake in the Spring Hill production company worth $300 million according to Forbes. That's a movie production company. So, and that's one of his things. He wants to continue movies and making movies and that type of thing. He's also an investor in Fenway Sports Group. I don't have this listed here, but I do remember reading that he was an investor in Beats, and when those were sold, he got a large percentage of money for that as well. Forbes also estimates that he owns $80 million worth of property, including a nearly $37 million home that's 13,000 square foot mansion in Beverly Hills. Now, Jordan and I went by one of his houses when we were out there in Beverly Hills. We couldn't see the top of it. I saw pictures of it. It's all one side of it you can see, and it had all the security guys. Something was about to go on that day. They had parking cones set up for people. There was a big event going, people in tuxedos out front. Something was going on at his house. But so we went to it, but we didn't, and it wasn't in like this huge neighborhood. So this may not be that mansion. It looked like it was in a smaller neighborhood. Plus, he's eligible. Get this. LeBron's eligible for a 2-year, $97 million extension from the Lakers. So the money, I don't think he's ever going to have to worry about money. His grandkids, great grandkids, just incredible. $1 billion during his playing time.
Yeah.
Insane. It's just unfathomable, like how much money he's made. So
yeah, I think Magic Johnson, I thought he was a billionaire because with all his investments with his theaters and
I thought him and Shaq were billionaires. But I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There's other NBA news about the Lakers too. They've reportedly made a decision to keep Russell Westbrook next season, and the reasoning is not because he's a great player and he's doing so well. They refuse to give up additional assets to send him out anywhere. In other words, it's just kind of like a car. They're upside down on Westbrook's value. He's not worth the money that he's getting paid, so Westbrook is expected to exercise his $47 million player option for next season. In order to get rid of him, they have to give more than he's worth, and basically is what that means. So it's cheaper to keep him. If you've heard that blues song, it's cheaper to keep her.
Did they sign him for $40 million? I don't.
He's got a player option that if they don't get rid of him, he gets to sign for $47 million. That's what they're going to have to pay him.
That's about $47 million more than what he's worth. So.
Exactly. But see, if you trade him, you got to give $47 million worth of talent, and him alone is not that to other teams. People aren't looking at Westbrook like he's worth 47. They might say, hey, to us, he's worth 25 million. What else are you going to give me? So in other words, the Lakers have to give up more to get rid of him. So it's just cheaper to keep him.
Yeah. To be fair, they probably should give up a little bit more because there are probably a few more players they don't necessarily need because they didn't do too hot.
I'm sure they're in a luxury tax also, just like Golden State is too, as well. And that's what they're faced with too. They're going to have to pay Wiggins more money now, and they're already in a luxury tax. I did read about that. So,
well, it's a little bit more worth it than the Lakers. They're in the finals. Lakers didn't make playoffs. I mean, not as worried about it. So.
Yeah. Westbrook has been with several teams in the last few years, and I don't know if that's got to weigh on you mentally in the way you play as well, I would think, and having to jail with different players every year.
I just don't know how someone can take this 2-year-old. How old is he now? 33 or something?
I think he's more like 33, 34, probably.
And he's never been to the finals, right? Ever. Like
he came close, I think, with Oklahoma City.
Right.
I thought they might have made.
Yeah,
I don't know if they made the finals, but he came close with them.
Yeah,
no, they never made the finals. But
I don't know how you can say this player is worth this much money and has never made it to the finals. Like that just doesn't make any sense to me. Like I know he's won MVP, but like that's just off statistics. He's not winning per se.
Yeah. Well, and it all comes back from when everyone left Oklahoma City and he was left on his own to carry a team, and he got all those triple doubles. Well, he led the league. I mean, he hit the record for triple doubles ever.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's where his value was based on. They expected him to be able to do that at other teams. But the thing is, when he's got another star player or two other star players, like with the Lakers, LeBron, AD, that he's not going to get those opportunities. And I don't think he works well in a team concept. He's rebounding, fly 100 miles an hour and go down and one-on-one. And that's not what these teams have been, Houston or the Lakers.
Lakers, and the Wizards and whatnot.
Yeah. So he struggled, and I think anyone would struggle going team to team like that. He's had some good games. But they're not consistent by any means. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen to the Lakers. They're definitely there's going to be a new team next year, but they're going to stick with those three: AD, LeBron, and Westbrook. It looks like
that's going to be rough, but
that's going to be horrible.
Yeah, they just AD. I'm surprised they haven't tried. Like, I don't know if they've tried, but they probably need to try and get rid of AD. I thought there were talks of him going somewhere, like Dallas. Was it Dallas? I heard.
Yeah, there's been some rumors, but it's all through the media of what they think the Lakers should do, or this or that. And a lot of people are saying that to maybe AD.
I agree. I mean, AD is just not working out for him. LeBron's not meshing with these guys. I know they won that championship, but but a little bit different with AD's healthy. So
I think LeBron would push to keep AD there. I think he would, and maybe it might take LeBron taking less money in order to get some of these players that he wants in there. I heard him talk about possibly trying to do that. But if he doesn't, if he sticks to that $97 million 2-year max deal, there will be no money to get these other players.
You would think
he's a billionaire.
Yeah, he doesn't need the money. That's like Tom Brady taking less money. Tom Brady took less money. Like you're the greatest of all time.
Michael Jordan took less money.
Yeah, you already have the money. If you want to keep playing basketball, take less money and win games. Like I'm okay with you. Like obviously he's worth more than like $20 million, but take like $25 million and go win a championship. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
But obviously I don't play in the NBA, so I have no idea how these people feel. So
yeah.
Maybe he will. Maybe LeBron will surprise everyone. I don't see LeBron as someone that would take less money unless it was ownership, possibly, of the Lakers, a percentage of ownership.
That would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know that they would be willing to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the buzzer, guys. Looks like we're out of time. We ran out of time. We don't have time to do total. So you guys next week, come back. We'll have total next week. How about we start that first next week, guys?
Sounds good.
We'll do that. Plus, we'll find out where the Hogs ended up, and we should be deep into the NBA playoffs by then. You guys sticking with your predictions?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys picked Boston, correct?
Yep.
Yep. And
Yeah.
I'm the lone Golden State holdout. I'm still sticking to it. I think they can come back.
We'll see. We'll see. If they lose tonight, it's gonna be tough.
All right,
Yeah.
guys. We'll see you next week from the Sanchez Entertainment Channel. More SEC sports talk coming up next week.
Whoop, whoop.